Hey there, welcome to Coffee Break Plans. It's time for Plan With Me March, or what I've renamed March Monthly Reset. These are usually short videos. Yes, I've thought about turning them into shorts, but I'm sticking with this for now. Every month I like to reset my disc planner and my daily planner. And I'm starting with my disc planner here in the personal section. I'm taking out the January pages, which I will then put into an archive. I'm going to leave February in place because I like to have the previous month still sitting in my planner, but I'm now going to turn to March and get that set up. This is the personal time and task management section of my planner, and I'm using the dashboard layout, but I'm using Undated, which means I need to go through and date everything starting with the monthly spread. Now I'm going through and doing all the weeklies, and I'm putting the dates in so that I know where everything is, and I'm going to take out any extra pages that I have in here. Lately, I've been trying to use a little bit of extra structure in these dashboard layouts. So I'm taking out the little stencils that I have at the beginning of my planner here. But first, I'm going to transfer any events or any tasks that I need that are on a particular date into the weeklies directly from my future log, which I have off to the left there. So here we go, setting up the weeklies. I'm doing the left-hand main dashboard page here, just with the task list. It's nice to split that up into three little bits. I'm also putting in a couple of headings which I use to track all my goals, and then adding a little bit of highlight so that I can see all the different stages. And that's been working really well for me, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for all 4 weeks of March. I haven't been filling these out too far ahead of time just in case something happens and I feel it doesn't really work for me. But so far, I found that this left hand page has been really helpful to have all the information I need for a week all in one area so I can see it at a glance. To the right hand page now, and I'm just going to add in a few little boxes and some circles for events and tasks. I don't like to put too much into this here because it's a little bit cluttered as it is, and if you add too much it becomes overwhelming and then I can't actually see what it is I need to get done, and I don't have any room to write anything else down, which defeats the entire purpose of having a weekly planner. Turning now to the creative section of my disc planner, I'm going to remove February because I no longer need it. And then I'm going to turn to March and set up the weekly layout that I use. And what I do here is I use a color block or a student layout, which has different, I guess, subjects down the side next to the days of the week. And I allocate each day of the week a particular task relevant to a particular hobby. This makes sure that I'm not overloading myself with too much to do each night after work. I do need some downtime. I feel like I don't need to spend every second of my life achieving something or getting something done. And we're now in the last section of my disc planner. This is my work section. And again, I've been adding just a little bit more structure to the horizontal layouts that I'm using here. I'm just putting in meetings and little things that I need to do that particular day, adding some squares and some circles. I've also started using the Saturday Sunday sections here, and on the Saturday section I write down all the tasks that I need to do that particular week, and in the Sunday section I've identified that as next week, and I put in a little task list for what I need to get done the following week. Putting my stencils back in the front of the planner now, and we're ready to put that aside and move on to my daily journal. So for my daily journal, I'm using a daily planner from Sterling Ink, and I'm going to the trackers at the start, and I'm just going to write down the trackers for the month. These are the things that I can control, things like my exercise, whether I'm buying takeaways, whether I'm buying unnecessary books, which I normally am. And I like to have this in a nice dark pen and in quite clear writing, and I will put in some highlighters every second line so that I can see clearly which item is which. I tend to use this journal a bit later on at night just before going to sleep, and I find if everything's too light, I can't see what it is I'm doing and where things are going. Now turning to the monthly spread, and I use these to track what meals that we're eating each night. Some of it is also tracking takeaways and how healthy we're eating. And I like just to add a little bit of washi tape to these unused boxes at the top and the bottom of the month. And then we're into the monthly layouts, and this first page I divide into a few sections. The top section I divide into two. I will come back and do that in a minute. And one on the left is the photo of the month, and on the right is just whatever media I'm doing. And at the bottom left hand side is my tarot read. I draw 3 cards for the month. I also do my daily journaling in all of these daily pages, and that left hand column that I'm shading in now, I use just for a little bit of loose time tracking so that I can keep track of what it is I'm spending my time on. And I've started putting in a bit of that second line shading just to make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. And the right hand side I use for my daily journaling. It can be for notes, it can be for prose, whatever it is I feel like doing each day. That's it for my monthly reset, short and sweet as promised. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.